Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Sorry about the sound issue. Can someone pop in the chat real quick and just let me know if you are hearing me? Hopefully this is useful information for you. If you're hearing me, someone can pop me in. Can you hear it? Let's see. Anyone hearing me now? I think we've hopefully got this sound working for you. Working, anyone? Yes, okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we'll just start back at the beginning. I'm Melissa Frey here with Alaska's news source. Thanks for, first of all, letting me know you couldn't hear me. Want to make sure that you have this useful information. So first of all, I just want to say our thoughts are with everyone here in South Central. It's already been a rough morning. I know a lot of you are dealing with damage or widespread, thousands of people without power in the Anchorage Bowl and across South Central. Hopefully you are safe. We've heard of at least one injury from this storm, but I do hope that you're just staying safe in a safe spot, even if there is damage to your home or in your neighborhood. Thank you to everyone who has already let us know what the conditions are like in your neighborhood. Keep those pictures and videos coming. It's really easy on our website, alaskasnewssource.com. Just scroll right to the top. You'll see the place where you can add pictures and videos. Keep those coming. Let us know what those conditions are like where you are. Also, if you have the solved. We've got static on the microphone. There's always technical difficulties when it's most important, right? Okay, let's see. I think that might be sounding a little better. Maybe we have a bad mic. There's always a way to fix technical difficulties. I'm hearing static is gone. Okay, third time's a charm, right? Thank you guys for holding with me. Hopefully this is getting better. I think we are in good shape now. Okay. So again, we do still have this high wind warning in effect until 3 p.m. The winds are already starting to taper off. The worst is over. So that's the first message I want to get out again, that the worst is over for us here in the Anchorage Bowl in terms of the high winds. But it means that we are not done completely with the wind. It's going to stay strong here through tonight. So we're going to get out of those extreme winds and we're going to get down into calmer winds. Still a little staticky. Man, I want to see if I can fix this for you guys. So I want you to be able to hear this information. That's what's important, right? We have a whole audio board here, and you got static. Okay. Oh, is that better? I think I just heard it get better. You guys are probably hearing it better for me. Okay, I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, we're going to get to that forecast. So I want you to be prepared for what is coming again as we look ahead. So here's the deal. Those strongest winds have already peaked here mid-morning. We have seen wind gusts to nearly 100 miles per hour on the Anchorage hillside. Highest winds have been in East Anchorage, South Anchorage, and on the hillside. As expected, that's typically the case in Anchorage, especially with a storm like this. But what's really historic about this storm is not only those extreme winds that we're seeing on the hillside, but also, of course, what we are seeing in town as well. And that's why we're seeing so much damage. Again, trees down, fences down, windows even being blown out. So again, most importantly, I do really hope that you are all staying safe out there. If you have pictures and videos of damage in your neighborhood, let me know those conditions where you are, and we'll continue to hopefully spread word about what's going on here across town. Now, again, the worst is over. This kind of shows you those winds out at Ted Stevens, which is actually one of the areas where we're seeing the lightest winds in town. Still strong, but you see how they're starting to taper off, but they don't just drop off completely. So we will continue to see breezy conditions. We're also going to continue to see wet conditions here through this afternoon. So here are the weather alerts that are in effect. It looks like my kid took a crayon and just colored it all over the map. Nearly every region in South Central is under some sort of advisory, watch, or warning. So let's go through these. For Anchorage and still up into the Matanuska Valley, Palmer, and east, that high wind warning is in effect until 3 p.m. Again, the worst is over, but we are going to see those strong winds again, potentially up to about 3 p.m. They're pretty erratic. So you see it kind of calms down for a minute and then it picks back up. So again, really important that you stay safe from those high winds into mid-afternoon. Now, as you head east, we have seen a combination of freezing rain, sleet, and snow across the Copper River Basin. Really difficult travel conditions down the Richardson Highway into Thompson Pass. We're looking at more than 2 feet of snow with this storm through Thompson Pass. Winter storm warnings in effect there from Thompson Pass down into Valdez. Also seeing the high winds with gusts to 80 miles per hour in Cordova and Portage. And then all of the green tells you where we're seeing flooding. Now, you can't see it in Anchorage because we actually have layered warnings with that high wind warning on top, but we do have flood advisories and watches in effect here from Anchorage into the valley all the way south to Seward. And if you've driven around town at all today, you've probably already noticed we have a lot of standing water. We've had rain today. We've had a lot of snow melt. Those culverts are full. The ditches are running full. There's even water in the ditch along Seward Highway, which is something that I just haven't seen very much. It looks like a lake in the middle of the 2 lanes of the highway there. So if you are trying to travel, whether it's just across Anchorage or south to Kenai or Seward or north into the valley, it's really important that you are just prepared for high water. Again, if you see high water, turn around, don't drown. You do not know what the road condition is like under that water. It could be chewed up. You don't know how deep it is. So again, just avoid any large, big puddles that you can't see the bottom of. Avoid that. And thank you to all of you who are chiming in here on Facebook, letting me know where you are watching and what the conditions are like where you are. Again, we have widespread power outages. At one point I saw as many as 11,000 people in Anchorage are without power, and we are seeing just a lot of debris down here across South Central. Now, zooming out a bit, I just want to show you some of the peak wind gusts, and they've actually gone up since I grabbed this screenshot here a couple of hours ago. But the highest winds we've seen are on the Anchorage hillside, gusts to 91 miles per hour, even up to 96 miles per hour right at Hillside and Upper Huffman. Peak wind gusts in town that we have seen now is 75 miles per hour along Seward Highway right at Huffman. That is a hurricane force wind gust, again at basically zero elevation. Up into the valley, seeing winds almost that strong, 73 miles per hour just as you cross the bridge into Palmer, seeing up over 60 miles per hour in Palmer, and then also seeing those high winds again all the way along the Glen Highway. I think it's up to 68 miles per hour on the Glen Highway at Eagle River now, and then seeing those high winds all the way down Turnagain Arm and into Portage. So again, some extreme conditions, and again, the South Anchorage hillside, those higher elevations, you can see those winds coming in from the southeast. And watch this just closely here with me for a minute. Look how those oranges go from Hope up into Anchorage. See how that all pushes to the north? That's when those winds really started to crank up around noon here in the Anchorage Bowl, and that's when we started to see some more significant damage. At that point, I even had a tree that hit my house just as I was leaving to come into the station. So again, these peak wind gusts 97 miles per hour there on Hillside, 91 as you head just south of the Rabbit Creek neighborhood. But again, all of these numbers have actually gone up even since I grabbed this screenshot, up to 66 miles per hour out at Merrill Field. And just look at the footprint of this storm. Large area of low pressure. The center of the storm is right about Bethel, and we have been seeing wet and windy conditions all the way down the west coast. But this front is what's bringing in, again, those high winds and the really heavy rain across South Central. And so that's why we're seeing such extreme conditions here locally. But look at the backage of that front, what's in behind it. If you're watching here from Kenai or from Kodiak, you know there is some clearing in behind this storm. We're all going to see that eventually, again, as the storm continues to push north and east tonight. So again, the worst is already over for South Central. Concerns heading into tonight are, of course, dealing with the storm damage, but also dealing with that high water and the amount of moisture that we still have pushing in with the storm. Again, it's been heavy rain there on the Kenai Peninsula, seeing that heavy rain throughout Prince William Sound, extending all the way down into southeast, seeing wet conditions, again, all from this same area of low pressure. So as that storm pushes north and east, the wind begins to taper off, the precipitation begins to taper off, but also the temperatures are going to begin to drop. Those southeast winds really boost our temperatures. We pushed into the mid 40s today as expected, but as we head into the coming days, those temperatures will drop back below freezing. I expect us to be below freezing consistently by Monday night. We'll likely even see some periods of below freezing conditions heading into tomorrow. There's a lot of standing water on roads here across town. Sorry about that. A lot of standing water that we're seeing. Anything that's liquid is going to turn back to ice as soon as those temperatures drop. So if you happen to have a storm drain right in front of your house, it's easy to get to and safe to get to, hey, clear that out. Get rid of that snow and ice so this water does have somewhere for it to go. Okay, looking ahead, again, we're going to see this storm continuing to push east. Temperatures are above freezing for most of the region, 43 in Seward. I do also want to mention for Seward specifically, we reported earlier this morning that there is a landslide across Lowell Point Road. I talked with Seward Police this morning. They told me that the public works crews were working to get that cleared. They tell me that it wasn't as big, or they don't anticipate that it was as big as previous landslides in that area, but it was really coming down in terms of the rain at the time. So they were kind of waiting till it was safe to get there and to clear the landslide. But that does cut off that Lowell Point community, of course, anytime that Lowell Point Road is closed. Okay, you can see the edge of this front. You don't have to be a meteorologist to tell where the back edge of this front is. See in Cordova where it's coming down, that yellow color indicating that more extreme rainfall. We've got snow in Eureka and that wintry mix into Golcana. That's what's pushing north. So we will see much calmer conditions in behind this Kenai. Already even getting some nice sun breaks in the mix. Eureka, Golcana, Copper River Basin, you still have a lot of moisture coming. We're talking heavy snow through the pass, and we're talking that strong combination of snow and freezing rain, and even sleet there along Richardson Highway. So be really safe if you're doing traveling in that area. We also had at least one lightning strike out of this storm. Just shows you the dynamics. That was down on the Kenai Peninsula earlier today. So here's a look at the peak wind gusts from the storm. Again, you can see the center of that just there near Bethel with those winds rotating around, that counterclockwise winds with low pressure. That's always the case. Again, down to Ted Stevens, the peak gust was 54 miles per hour. But again, that was some of the lightest winds that we saw here in the Anchorage Bowl. More than 60 at Merrill Field with those winds over 70 miles per hour along Muldoon, also up to 75 miles per hour along Seward Highway as you head down south near Huffman. But you can see those high winds all the way down through the Alaska Peninsula, Cold Bay at 56 miles per hour, strong winds all the way up the west coast, and seeing strong winds into southeast. And again, what's remarkable is that is all from this one area of low pressure. It just shows you the power of this storm really plowing right here into the state. So as we head overnight tonight, again, temperatures, they will start to cool down. We'll get back into those 30s. We will still see some showers in the area, but I'm not expecting much more heavy rain for us here in Anchorage, at least for tonight into tomorrow morning. You see temperatures at 40 degrees at about 11 o'clock. We'll see temperatures falling into the mid 30s as we head into early Monday morning. And again, pretty calm conditions as we head into Monday midday. But then once we get into Monday night and Tuesday, that's when the next storm system comes rolling in. I do not anticipate any extreme wind with that next storm, but we will start to see chances for some snow as temperatures drop. We actually have chances for snow here on Tuesday and again as we head into Wednesday. Nothing too extreme, but again, that'll be an interesting mix after all that we're dealing with here today. So again, thank you to all of you chiming in here. I'm hearing from Brandon that power was out of Muldoon for about an hour and a half. TrueGatch did a good job, steady repair. I hear they are just all over town. I mean, so many trees down. We can't even obviously honestly count at this point. Barbara telling us it's snowing and raining in Eagle River now. Okay, yeah, you're going to see that wintry mix, those showers off and on, especially for the higher elevations. And what happens with a storm like this is when you have a downsloping wind, it actually dries us out and helps to evaporate the air. So as the wind calms down, the precipitation can pick up, which I do anticipate is going to be the case as we head here into this afternoon. Still no power, Glen Alps, 9 hours. You're in the long haul. Sorry to hear that. I know those crews are working around town again. I've seen as many as 11,000 people without power. You can see those updates. And hey, we have a live blog going at alaskasnewssource.com. If you haven't seen this already, as reports come in, any closures that we're seeing, any road closures, business closures, any new damage reports that we're hearing across town, we're getting those all into that live blog, including the damage. You may have heard the Rabbit Creek pedestrian bridge came down early this morning, about 2:30 this morning. Debris across the highway. Highway was closed for a number of hours. DOT crews were working out there early this morning to get that cleared. The highway's been open now since about 6 o'clock this morning. But all the video and details on that, if you haven't seen it, is at alaskasnewssource.com as well. So keep refreshing that live blog because throughout the day we're going to keep that updated. We do have a number of crews that are out in different corners of the city working to gather information and see the damage reports. Again, if you have pictures or videos from your neighborhood, if you're just joining us, again, put those on the website. You go to alaskasnewssource.com. It's really easy. Top banner there, or if you have the Alaska's Weather Source app, you just scroll to the bottom. It's literally a click of a button. You choose your pictures and videos that are saved there on your phone or computer, and then you can upload them to us really easy, and the whole newsroom is able to see that. So that is helpful information as well. Hearing from you, Carrie there in Kenai, clear skies. Isn't that nice to see? The calm before the storm was beautiful yesterday, and the calm after the storm is going to be beautiful as well. Glad that you're getting that clearing. We're going to see that clearing here in Anchorage pretty soon. Again, just a little bit longer for those of you north in the valley and up into the Copper River Basin. Hearing about shingles all over the road on the east side. Yeah, Muldoon, you had wind gusts over 70 miles per hour, again 75 right on the Seward Highway at Huffman. Again, basically zero elevation. And that is a hurricane force wind gust from this storm. Really impressive with those downslopping winds coming up over the Chugach Mountains. Again, extreme in the mountains, we expect that, right? But you don't necessarily expect that in town. So I hope that everyone is just safe again in this storm and continues to stay safe. If you don't have to head out, I'll tell you the roads are not great. There's a lot of standing water. The winds are still strong. So if you have the ability to stay home, I'd encourage you to do so. I'm hearing from Tabitha telling us that Butte and Palmer has flooding. Yeah, we have that urban and small stream flood advisory that's in effect now for Anchorage. That's going to stay in effect as we just continue to see a lot of ponding. We see a lot of high water, and it's really those storm drains. They're clogged, culverts are full, and there's really not a lot of places for that water to go. So really important that you do stay safe if you run into any of those high water areas. I'm just going to pull up the latest report here with the flood watch in effect. For those of you in Prince William Sound area, your flood watch has been canceled, so seeing improving conditions there. But for Anchorage, for the east end of Turnagain Arm, for those of you in the Matanuska Valley and the western side of Prince William Sound, including Portage, we are still seeing, again, a flood advisory in effect. This actually is in effect until noon on Monday. And here are the details on that. Again, because of that moderate and heavy rain that's fallen across the region, we're just seeing a lot of ponding. The ground is frozen, so it doesn't really soak in the moisture like what we would expect in the spring and in the fall. We're also just seeing some localized flooding in small streams. All that water trying to funnel into those streams and creeks, and they are full. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we've got that landslide there at Lowell Point this morning that they are working to clear as well. So if you live along any of those small streams or creeks or even culverts or just an intersection that is full of water, do stay away from it. Don't go through it. You don't know what's under there. And that's when we see some serious conditions. You know, it only takes about 6 inches is to float a car and get it to get moving. So again, just stay, if you have any running water, best to just avoid that completely. So yeah, so again, bottom line, the worst of it's over. We are seeing improving conditions now, and then we'll see temperatures really cooling down quite significantly. We've got the whole team here. We are working to gather this information. I'm going to run through the forecast again, get you another update here for later this afternoon. So stay with us here at Alaska's News Source. If you have any questions, you have any concerns, keep them going here in the chat. We'll try and keep updated. Hearing some of you asking about delayed flights. I did hear flights were delayed and maybe even some diverted this morning out of Anchorage. So we have a reporter looking to find out more information on that. So, all right, for now, I'm going to leave you, but stay with us here at alaskasnewssource.com.